After being drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2016 NFL Draft, fans had no idea that a guy drafted in the 5th round would turn out to be one of the best wide receivers in football. However, it became common knowledge that Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill would cause a lot of trouble because of his speed. This is indeed a blessing to him and his team, but it's not all shades of blessings. Every team he faces knows his teammates will make several attempts at getting the ball to him, so they come up with ways to try to make him ineffective. Interestingly, it's been quite impossible to do much about his lightning-fast speed. Since getting drafted into the NFL, the 5'10 wide receiver, although not the biggest, has had a seat in conversations about the deadliest wide receivers of his era. While some folks do not think he belongs to the class of the all-time greats, every speedy, small wide receiver has been compared to him. But he has had such great moments that none of them have come close to being as dangerous as he is. From catching up with a teammate that was about 10 yards ahead of him, to scoring a touchdown no one saw. These are the craziest Tyreek Hill superhuman moments. Tyreek Hill is considered the fastest NFL player of his era, and this isn't a position that was handed to him on a silver platter. Rather, it was one he earned in a Week 12 game against the Denver Broncos in his rookie season. Prior to this game, Hill was judged by the 4.29 he clocked in the 40-yard dash at his pro day the last spring. Although this showed him to be fast, it didn't make him the fastest player in the NFL. Well, everything changed in the second quarter against the Broncos in Hill's rookie season. It's common knowledge that game speed and combine speed are different. Some players play much faster than their 40 time may suggest. In the game, the wide receiver had an 86-yard touchdown return to score the Chiefs' first touchdown of the game and give them an 8-point lead. As beautiful as this touchdown was, what really caught everyone's attention was the fact that he had a top speed of 22.77 miles per hour, which was the fastest speed of an NFL star at that point in the season. As much as the high point of the game was the top speed he achieved, his 86-yard return was just one of his high points. He scored 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing.
Drive with the Wildcat with Ware, who gives to Tyreek Hill. Speed on the edge. What a block he got from Wilson to score the touchdown.
1 receiving.
Pressure, Smith against the blitz. Inside, it is caught by Hill, just shy.
And the 3rd via a kick return. And he was the first player to achieve this feat after Pro Hall of Famer Gale Sayers achieved this feat in a game between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings in the 1965 NFL season. Hill's 86-yard return was all down to his running ability. But this next crazy moment was him taking advantage of a flaw in the opposition's defense. In a Week 9 game against the Dallas Cowboys in the 2017 NFL season, Tyreek Hill scored a second quarter 56-yard touchdown that really shouldn't have happened. This touchdown, which was the last play of the first half, only happened because the Cowboys allowed it. As much as lots of NFL fans think the Cowboys didn't defend properly and that was why Hill scored, there was actually more to it than that. Quarterback Alex Smith connected with Hill via a pass that looked like a Hail Mary. Hill was less than 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage when Smith connected with him. From the point he made the catch, the fastest player in the NFL covered 43 more yards to score a touchdown.
Needs to watch. There it is to Hill. The whole brigade around him. Hill gets around Standard. Look at Hill go! Impossible! Touchdown, Kansas City! How did they do that?
Unlike lots of other moments in his career, Hill didn't just need to rely on his speed to score this touchdown. He showed his ability to be patient and got help from some of his blockers. But that wasn't all that happened. He weaved his way through a sea of Cowboys to score a touchdown that no one really saw coming. Hill's last-minute touchdown against the Cowboys will always be remembered as a miracle. But this next touchdown perhaps would have been more deserving of the miracle tag, if only it had counted. In a Week 13 game against the Denver Broncos in the 2020 NFL season, Tyreek Hill scored a touchdown that, unfortunately, was ruled an incomplete pass because no one, including Tyreek Hill, even realized he scored. This might seem a little difficult to believe, but the wide receiver didn't contest the referee's decision, so they saw no reason to review it. In the second quarter of this game, quarterback Patrick Mahomes connected with Hill in the end zone. The wide receiver made attempts at reeling the ball over his shoulder, but struggled with Broncos cornerback A.J. Boyd. The struggle finally favored Hill, just as both players hit the ground, and somehow, the wide receiver was able to keep the ball from making any contact with the ground. Unfortunately, he didn't even realize this. Just like him, the referees assumed the ball must have made contact with the ground at a point during the struggle, so they ruled it incomplete. Interestingly, everyone thought the call was right until replays showed Hill was able to keep the ball from making any contact with the ground, ultimately scoring a touchdown.
Well, it's bobbled. Does it hit the ground? Hits his...
Oh,
look at
God.
this!
Oh, my God.
They could have challenged it if they had seen it, but they don't. And it's fair caught at the 10-yard line.
Just like Hill didn't know he had scored a touchdown, the Chiefs had no idea what had happened, so they didn't challenge the referee's call. If they had, things definitely would have gone in their favor, and Hill would have scored one of the most unlikely touchdowns ever. Missing out on what really was a touchdown was bad for Hill and the Chiefs, but even worse was the fact that the Broncos went on to score the first touchdown of that game after their punt. Just like this touchdown that no one saw, not all of Tyreek Hill's crazy superhuman moments involve him scoring a touchdown. This next moment involved a touchdown, but it wasn't scored by Hill. Nonetheless, the wide receiver did something that only very few players would be able to get done in the NFL today. A Week 9 game against the Minnesota Vikings in the 2019 NFL season saw wide receiver Tyreek Hill play the role of a blocker for running back Damian Williams, as the latter scored a 91-yard touchdown. Before this touchdown, Williams was about 10 yards ahead of Hill, who was a key block on this play. Although Hill played the role of a blocker perfectly, he felt like he needed to do more, or maybe just show off a little. So, he decided to catch up with Williams, who was already at full speed and way ahead, leaving the Viking players behind in the process.
Damian Williams! All the way!
This moment was beautiful to watch, but even more beautiful was the fact that the players were mic'd up, so we could hear them. As much as Williams was glad Hill played the role of a blocker perfectly, he also jokingly accused the wide receiver of trying to embarrass him on television.
Hey, D. Will, you slow, bro. He ain't gonna try to embarrass me on TV.
He blocked the dude, then ran past you too.
Hey, look. And I'm looking at the camera like, damn, T, you just gonna run up on me like that? I wasn't on defense. I was coming for your ass.
Hill was obviously not looking to embarrass a teammate, but that was just him showing the world how fast he can get, even when there isn't a lot at stake. Tyreek Hill could have gone on to become a Kansas City Chiefs legend, but he had a fallout with the franchise and made a surprise move to the Miami Dolphins, where he signed a $120 million contract. Also, he's gone on to prove that he doesn't need the Chiefs structure to be recognized as one of the best wide receivers of this era. If you had a blast watching this, smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated on our latest crazy content. Drop a comment below and let us know which moment blew your mind the most. Catch you on the next one.